wanted to sort of build on some of the things that Daryl Michael said on some of the questions that were asked. So on that question about the future of AI and the future of jobs, I think it's a perennial question, because in every technological revolution, there's been this real concern that automation and tech will replace humans. And AI is, in many ways, the pinnacle of that, because not only are our jobs being potentially replaced by AI, but our ability to think, our cognition is being replaced. But I would argue that that's only if you allow it. I see AI as a thought partner rather than a replacement, and I think that's the way it very much depends on the way you frame it. And if we do live in a world where AI does our jobs, that doesn't leave us as humans with nothing to do. There's a theory in philosophy known as the objective goods theory, which argues that certain things like knowledge, friendship, autonomy, a sense of purpose, achievement, good health are inherently good for a person's life and are essential to the human condition and are the ingredients for human happiness. Regardless of whether you want or enjoy them, they are fundamentally valuable to human life. And so in a world where AI is doing our jobs, there are ways in which we can pursue these objective goods that wouldn't be hampered by AI. But I still think we are quite a long way before AGI or ASI achieve the ability to replace human labor. And then on the question of alignment, like Daryl was saying, this is about getting AI to do the things that we, to achieve the goals that we set for it. And there's this concept known as proxy gaming, which refers to the act of exploiting or taking advantage of approximation errors in the proxy rather than optimizing for the original goal. So to make this concept more concrete, there's an example, a historical example that I want to describe to you, which is in 1902. It's the example of pest management in 1902, where the city of Hanoi was dealing with a rat problem. The newly installed sewer system had inadvertently become a breeding ground for rats, bringing with it concern for hygiene and the threat of a plague outbreak. And in an attempt to control the rat population, the French colonial administration began offering a bounty for every rat killed. And to make the collection process easier, instead of demanding the entire carcass, the French only required the rat's tail as evidence of the kill. Counter to the officials' aims, people began breeding rats to cut off their tails and claim the reward. Additionally, others would simply cut off the tail and release the rat, allowing it to potentially breed and produce more tails in the future. So the proxy, the rat tails, proved to be a poor substitute for the goal of managing the local rat population. And this proxy gaming can also be achieved in machine learning, can also be performed in machine learning. And so when we think about AI aligning with human goals, we need to be very specific about our goals, and this has very real consequences when it comes to how you frame certain prompts. If you ask your ChatGPT to write an essay for you, but you don't actually frame the essay in a particular way, you don't mention which sources it should cite, then of course the essay that the ChatGPT produces won't be as high quality. So I thought that I would touch on those 2 points because there was a lot of discussion around those 2 points, and I think hopefully that gives you another perspective on things. So on this question of the generative leap from predictive algorithms, predictive AI, to generative AI, I want to ask a question to everyone, which is, which part of generative AI excites you and which part worries you? I mean, we've touched on a few worries already, but is there anything that excites anyone in the room? Yes. And please speak up so I can hear you.
The fact that it can generate similar things to what you've already based on previous data, it can generate similar things that you might like, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's brilliant. Any other bits that excite? Yeah. Or worry? Yeah. Yeah. So it essentially makes life easier, and you can be more productive at work. Yeah, that's definitely been the case for me. Starting a business is not easy, but it's been made a lot easier with ChatGPT, sort of roasting my ideas. That's one of the things that I use it to do. I ask it to give me the harshest critique of my ideas, and I can do that feeling safe because no one's going to see it. It's just going to be between me and the chatbot. So I would recommend you do that. If you have an idea, ask ChatGPT, roast this idea as if you were the harshest critic, and it will give you some really useful insights. Talk to you like a human, yeah?
Yeah, like if you just don't want to talk to anyone, you just talk to ChatGPT, and it's just like, they're nice.
Yeah. So that one of the use cases for ChatGPT is therapy and companionship. And this has many pros and cons. I actually wrote an article recently for the LSE on this subject. And we see that a lot of people turn to AI for companionship because it's not judgmental, it's always available, so it's not like a human that needs to sleep, it's always available to speak to, which are all benefits. But then on the flip side, there are drawbacks because AI isn't human, it doesn't have emotion, it doesn't have a heartbeat, it can't look you in the eye and tell you the truth when that truth is uncomfortable. It's often very sycophantic, it's very people-pleasing. So I would be conscious of using AI as a companion or as a therapy tool, especially if you're putting sensitive data. I think you have to be quite vigilant. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going back to AI's thought partner knowledge basement, kind of like putting ideas into AI and then it enhance it. So like, for example, kind of maximizing the capabilities.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because AI has access to so much data, and it can reason similar to a human, not exactly like a human, because it lacks a lot of the contextual cues. But it has access to so much data, so much information that you wouldn't possibly be able to digest in a short space of time. So I think, yeah, it definitely enhances rather than replaces. Any other points?
The accessibility of it, because some people might not have access to like private tutors or
Yeah.
different sort of things, but if you ask ChatGPT, they can help you and it's free of charge.
Absolutely, yeah. I think one of the great use cases for AI is as an academic tutor, because it allows you to engage in a sort of Socratic dialogue, and that ability to have conversations where you say something, it responds, and then it asks a follow-up, and then you have to think critically about how you would respond, just like you would in a human conversation. And because it has access to a vast library of information, it allows you to speak on subjects in a very deep and philosophical manner as well. Yeah.
It can save you like a lot of money, for example.
Sorry, say that again?
I said it can save you a lot of money,
Yeah.
like the long run.
Yeah.
You can do things like be like a tutor,
Yeah.
maybe like social media manager.
Yes. I use AI for social media stuff as well. It allows you to create content. Yeah.
Is there any research to the possibility of developing a gap between so-called first world and third world in terms of access to data?
So I've been working with the Young AI Leaders Hub, which is a UN, United Nations organization, and